6:20. Politics never stops. That's why we got our man Trey Hardin on the job every Tuesday. Checks in with us, ABC News political analyst Trey Hardin. Trey, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, McGraw?
Good. Dick Cheney, as they say in your business, doubles down over the weekend, huh?
Well, I guess, listen, the reason it gets so much attention is because for the Democrats, especially in lieu of not having really anything else to talk about, he's just always an easy target for them. Every party each political party has one of those. Right now it happens to be President Obama on the Democrat side. People want to, throw the responsibility of us being over in the Middle East for however long we've been there on Dick Cheney, and it's good fodder, I think, for channels like MSNBC and whatnot. But at the end of the day, is if you sit and really listen to what comes out of his mouth and what he is saying, he probably is the most insightful and thoughtful person as it relates to national security. It's not partisan politics. It's not an agenda. It's not, it's not even really an ideology. It's based on pragmatism. It's based on reality. And I just think what he has been saying, I think, makes a lot of sense to a lot of people, and the polls clearly show it. There's an ABC News Washington Post poll out this morning that shows a majority of Americans agree with him.
Yeah, I like Dick Cheney, and I think Americans like him, is because there's no nuance there, right? He doesn't shade what he thinks. He tells you exactly what he thinks, whether you like it or not, and I think people respond to that.
Absolutely. It's refreshing, particularly in this day and age, because there's not many politicians that do that. I mean, we have a president in the White House that hasn't done it in 6 years, and I think it is refreshing, and on something as important as this and as serious as this, in terms of defending the homeland and protecting Americans, you can't mince words. You can't be political. You can't put spin on it, and he doesn't do that. And I think what he said is absolutely correct. I mean, torture is that individual on whatever floor of the tower determining whether they want to burn to death or dive to their grave from the 20th floor. I just think that is what torture is, and we have enhanced interrogation techniques that definitely work, though a Democrat-only report says that they don't, which is completely false because it did not take into account really the people that do this for a living. And they work. We have prevented things from happening, and McGraw, we're waking up this morning right now and hearing that almost over 100 students in Pakistan were massacred last night by the same terrorists that we are trying to go after. And I bet you if you ask the parents of those students if there was certain techniques that could be used to find those terrorists, they would say yes, we'd want to use them.
Now, with that being said, as you mentioned, you alluded to, the report says one thing, that the torture didn't work. We tortured innocent people. It did more harm than good. And yet Dick Cheney says it's completely the opposite.
Well, I think people, and the polls show, trust Dick Cheney more than they do Dianne Feinstein on this. I mean, this is a report that had her hands on it, and it was completely written by Democrats for Democrat reasons to go after the Bush administration again. And it was really done because the intelligence community had ticked Dianne Feinstein, the senator from California and the chairwoman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, had ticked her off and gotten her mad. So this was almost like a personal vendetta for her to do this report. But I would argue that all she did is weaken a nation by doing it and releasing it. I don't think the American people have a right to know what the CIA does. They're a clandestine service for a reason. And they do things that aren't pretty. They do things to save lives. And I'm fine personally, and I think a lot of Americans are, with not having too much knowledge about what they do.
What do you make of this story coming out of this bill that averted a government shutdown with this Dodd-Frank amendment in there that's sort of, as they say, being reported, that puts the taxpayers back on the hook for the banks wheeling and dealing?
Well, I mean, it just goes to show you that that Harry Reid and the Democrat-run Senate it's going to be refreshing to have a changing of the guard. it's deal in order to get this thing passed, deals needed to be cut, and that's where we are right now. Otherwise, I think we were going to be on the brink of potentially a government shutdown. But the Senate is completely dysfunctional. This town has been dysfunctional for years, and whether you support what they're going to be pushing or not, I will tell you that I think once we get into next year, you're going to see a lot more regular order and a lot more legislation actually move. With everyone getting a chance to offer amendments on the Senate floor, which is not something Harry Reid allows right now, and we'll be able to plow forward.
Why are you blaming Harry Reid for that amendment?
What's that?
Why are you blaming Harry Reid for that amendment? Did they slip it in? Did the Democrats slip it in?
No. I'm blaming him for the dysfunction of allowing of the process and allowing that to happen.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. All right, Trey Hardin, we'll let you go. You have yourself a good day, and talk to you next Tuesday.
You got it.
All right, 626 here, Big 550.